About 25 years ago, when I left school before I started university, I took a year out and I spent at that time in Southern Africa. And I got to spend a year mostly in Cape Town, but also did a lot of traveling around Southern Africa at a time. And that gave me the opportunity to do a bungee jump, which at the time was the world's highest bungee jump off the Victoria Falls Bridge over the Zambezi on the border between Zimbabwe and Zambia. And it was a fantastic experience, but I'm not sure one I could actually repeat. And I was reminded of it the other day when we took the kids to the Eden Project, which, as an aside, is a great day out, and I thoroughly recommend it if you're in the area to go and visit. But the reason I was reminded of it was in the rainforest biome. You can go up steps up to a gantry at the top of the biome. I'm not sure how many meters it is high, 30 meters or something, and you look down over the whole biome. And looking over the edge, I certainly got the old jelly leg and a bit of the vertigo looking down. So it reminded me of that bungee jump and how there's no way I could do that now. As a 19-year-old with lots of exuberance and no shortage of ego, I didn't question it. But now it's not something I could do with any comfort at all. But nothing's actually changed. If anything, it's less risky now because there'll be more safety protocols if you're going to throw yourself off a Victorian iron road bridge. So it's really just my perception of risk that has changed. And the reason I explain this now, I'm talking about this now, is because I believe as investors, particularly the average UK investor, they aren't they don't take enough risk. They're too risk averse. And I believe that's really just comes down to perception and understanding of risk and investing. Because if you, when you come up to retirement, you might feel, well, I can't afford to take any risk now, because what if something happens? And to an extent, that's true. But the stock markets don't change just because you reached a life event. The stock markets rise and fall on a number of different external factors, not linked to you whatsoever. And if you're in your 50s or 60s, you can expect, hopefully, a good 30 or 40 years of life, and therefore of investing with your investments and pension funds. So by not taking enough risk, being too cautious with your money, you're foregoing the opportunity to grow your wealth even more, which will give you greater financial independence and greater financial security, but also potentially limit how much you can pass on to children or grandchildren when you die as an inheritance. So the point of this video is really just to underline the fact that how we invest or choose not to invest is really in our mindsets and our psyche. And if we know more and understood more about investing, which actually is more simple than people like to believe, and the financial services and investment world like to make it more complicated than it actually is, because that's how they can make money. When we realize it is more simple and we can follow a few basic steps, then we can have much greater financial success and investment rewards when we invest for long enough. Now, of course, there's often reasons not to take unnecessary risks, and having money in cash is right for some people and probably for everyone for a period of time. But that doesn't mean we should take too little risk with all of our money. It's all about finding that balance. And hopefully we've had those conversations and you're happy with how you're investing your money. But I thought it'd be a worthwhile reminder just to say, if you find yourself being more risk averse or worried about what's happening in the markets, it often just comes down to our perception of risk rather than the reality of risk. As always, any questions, let me know.